Hey, what's up, family? Hey, today I'm going to do a video. I'm going to title this one, Black on Black Crime. Now, what I'm going to be touching on in this one is the ugly stigma that they have always tried to put on black folks by labeling crime within the black communities, black on black crime. When it's such a silly and ugly stigma that is just ridiculous. Because a crime is a crime. You know, but they quick to say black on black crime, but yet instead you never hear them say white on white crime, with all the white on white crime that happened within their family members, within their white communities, you know, all around the world. They have done more criminal stuff than anybody on this planet, amongst themselves and amongst others, but you never hear them say white on white crime. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, and as always, you know, I love to give y'all a word of the day. So the word of the day is going to be just what I just said, stigma. You know, ugly stigma. Now, you look up the word stigma, it just means like a ugly mark or reference that a ugly mark or reference to a something or a person. You know, put something ugly on it. And that's what they do. They put that ugly stigma and say black on black crime. But you got a whole bunch of Asian gangs over in China, Korea, whatever the case, who kill amongst each other. But you never hear them say Korean on Korean. Look at Italians with the mafia, because a lot of y'all love the mafia movies, right? Even in the mafia, whenever somebody betrays them or whatever within the family, it is known that that very person that's closest to them is going to be the one to take you out. You know what I'm saying? But do you ever hear them say Italian on Italian crime? No. But they quick to always put that ugly stigma on black folks, like they do with everything in the world. It's like a united front where it's like we're going to do any and everything around the world to put black people down on every front about everything. And which brings me to this book here. Great book, Color of Law. Now this book has some really great historical things in it, such as the redlining, of how they redlined a lot of communities where they made it impossible for black folks to live in a nice neighborhood, even if they had the money to do so. Even if they were good people, with more than likely that's just what they were, good people. They made it impossible. The banks made sure that they didn't give them the loans. They didn't give them the grants. Didn't give them the they didn't give them no eligibility to get these grants or loans to get the housing. And if they happen to get past that, you would have a whole white mob in those neighborhoods that were mobilized. And they would do any and everything to make sure, oh, there's a black person trying to move in this neighborhood. We got to do everything to get them out of here. We don't want them to move in the neighborhood. Everything to plot against black folks all the time. But then they love to say stuff like black on black crime. When that's a crime, what they doing right there. The banks, the universities, all this, colleges, all this always plotted against black folks. And then they always want to say black on black crime. Listen, let me tell you something. When you take all the resources from a people, I don't care what type of person it is. When you take all their jobs away from them, you take health care and you give them nothing but bad health care. You take their schooling away. You take away for them to provide for their family. Now they got nothing to do but criminal activity. And then you take all of that and you make sure they are all stuck in a box and can't get out. Obviously, nothing but crime is going to happen. It's no different than, let's say, you could go out in your front yard and plant a really nice rose garden. I guarantee you, in due time, some weeds are going to grow up and they're going to go up and attack them roses. So this is what happens. But you got to use different type of weed killers and stuff to keep your stuff looking nice. It's a process. But like I said, the video is called Black on Black Crime. But in no way am I talking about black on black crime. I'm talking about the ugly stigma of making up that nonsense like they have always did with black folks. You know, it's like another old video of mine is called Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, by the book by Jawanja Kunjufu, and how he breaks all that down. And in that video, how I said, you see how white folks have always put a label and title on stuff we do and we just run with it. And that video, what I was talking about is how we call ourselves Afro-American. Get out of here. That's nonsense. You are an African that just happens to live here in America. You know, it's like this sweater I got here. Like it says, American grown, African roots. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. Like I said in that video, the Italian guy that live up the street, born here. You ask him what's his nationality, he's not going to say American Italian. The German guy, he's not going to say American German. No, they're going to say, I'm from Germany. I'm from Italy. I'm Italian. I'm Chinese, I'm Korean. Only black folks, they got this on a census that says, oh, you're Afro-American because they labeled you that. But yet and still, you could go on the map, and on the map, you could see Germany. That's why the guy from Germany, he says, I'm German. That's why the Italian, you go on the map and see on the map where it says Italy. That's why he says, I'm Italian. You get what I'm saying? But nowhere on that map will you see a land called Afro-American land. Nowhere in there will you see it called nigger land. You know, nowhere in there will you see it called Negro land. This is silly to even be calling yourself Afro-American because they said to call it, because they told us, oh, you guys are Afro-American. See, everything they label us, we run with it. And y'all need to knock it off. Anytime you hear them say anything about black on black crime, you should be disgusted by it because there's no such thing. It's a crime. It's not black on black crime. It's a crime by some ingratefuls, by some bad people, let's just say. It's a crime, but it's not black on black crime. It just happened to be he's black and he's black or whatever the case. But how about when he was white and he was white? You'll never hear them say white on white crime. You got more white people kill cops more than anyone in the world. But you never quite hear that unless you're a type of person that look up statistics and read about current events and stuff like that. You could pull up the FBI crime chart and you could look at all the crimes such as kidnapping, rape, murder, manslaughter, vandalism, all of that, arson, all of that. And you'll see that white people lead that chart on all of those criminal things. But you'll never hear white on white crime. You see what I'm saying? So like I said, going back to this book here, there's so many things that they touch on in this book. And I love this book because it touches on so much historical stuff of how this world, and particularly this country, has done everything to keep black people in the box, keep them impoverished, keep them uneducated, keep them nothing around but criminal activity. Therefore, they're going to act out how it's like you created them to be that way. And this touches on that. Could you imagine back in the days, these people, a lot of black men that worked at the shipyards and stuff like that, paying union dues, but yet and still, when it came time for the union to stick up for them, the union did absolutely nothing. Could you imagine places like Tulsa, Oklahoma? We all know about the Black Wall Street, where these people own their businesses, own their houses, paying their life insurance and their homeowners insurance, their business insurance, all paid up. And when the white mobs came in and jealously, very jealously and hatefully destroyed all these black people's lands, do you know all insurance companies denied them their claims? You see what I'm saying? It's like a united front where this country has done everything to unite with other ethnic groups and amongst themselves to plot against the black man. And then we're going to all put a stigma on them and say, black on black crime when they commit crimes against each other. Now, what I'm talking about that when I say that black on black crime, and I say, like I said, if you take the resources away for a person to provide for themselves and you put them in a box and where they can't get out, now there's no other thing to do but commit crime. You got to find some kind of way to survive. Remember that old true story, that plane that went down and the people had no way to live and they started eating each other? All the white people, but everybody said, man, they were survivors. No, they did what they had to do to survive. Yes, it was such a heinous thing, but they survived. So yeah, I take my hat off to them, but it was a survival thing. It wasn't like they were animalistic people. They did what they had to do to survive. Now, with all of that being said, touch on that story and all other stuff I said, I'm going to give you a childhood story of mine that's going to touch on all this. I want y'all to pay close attention. True story. This was when I was about 7 years old. It was me and my friend. I used to hang out. One of my closest friends was Wayne. I used to hang out with Wayne all the time. But across the street from Wayne was these other kids that I remember Wayne's mother used to hate for us hanging with them because they was like, oh, those are the bad kids of the neighborhood. Those dirty kids of the neighborhood. But you know how little kids, they're my friends. I want to hang out with my friends. We still hung out with them. There was one kid across the street named Speedy. We used to call him Speedy. That was his nickname. I remember one time me and Speedy, we went to the junkyard. We found couple of things at junkyard that we thought was interesting. And when we lift up this big boulder on this one hockey stick, there was 2 gardener snakes under the boulder. And we was like, oh, jump, look at them gardener snakes. Because that's how we talked back then. We was like, oh, sweat, oh, jump. So we collected the 2 gardener snakes. We put them in a box. And then we thought, let's lift up some other big stones and see if we could find some more snakes. Before we left the junkyard, we collected 5, I want y'all to stay with this count, 5 gardener snakes. And now we put them in the box. Obviously, they was climbing their way out of the box because they didn't want to be in a box, red line or whatever, right? So now we found a big Folgers canned coffee. It was a big can, right? So we took that and we put the snakes in there. We put that plastic top on it. We put holes in it so they could breathe. We got back to the house. You know, obviously Speedy said, yo, man, you keep the snakes over your house. I said, man, my uncle ain't going to let me have these at his house. And then I said, let's leave them at your house, man. Y'all got a big house. He said, man, my mom's ain't going to let me. So he was like, yo, let's put them under the porch. Nobody goes up under our porch. So that's what we did. But so the next day when we went to get the snakes up out of there, you know, we was eating a honey bun. We had a Pepsi. We was drinking all that. So we knew by common knowledge, we said the snakes got to be hungry. And every day we was like, man, they're going to get bigger and bigger. Silly little kids. So while we was eating the honey bun, we sprinkled some of the honey bun crumbs into the can, and the snakes was eating the honey bun. We put some of the cream in there, and the snakes ate the cream. And like two little ignorant, irresponsible kids, we said, oh, Junk, look at the snakes. Yo, they eating the cake. Man, I ain't no snakes. They eat cake just like we eat cake. And then we took the Pepsi top that you squeeze on top, and we poured some Pepsi in the top, and we put it in the can, and the snakes, all five of them went to the top, and they was drinking the Pepsi. And we was like, yo, you see that? They drinking the Pepsi just like us. I ain't know snakes drink Pepsi. Wow. And we gave them little bits of candy we would break up, and they was eating it.
And y'all were giving them diabetes.
Yeah, we was messing up. But we little 7-year-old kids, we just thought it was amazing. They eating candy like we eat candy. They drinking soda like we drink soda. They eating the crimpet cake like we eating the crimpet cakes, right? But what we didn't know, we keeping them in a box and we making sure that they can't get out. So therefore, they only doing what, like the plane, the Alive movie. They only eating what's being provided for them, even though this is not good for them. This ain't what they eat or drink, but this all they got, so they got to deal with that. But we didn't think like that. But let me tell you something about that story, because there's an ending to it too. Now, we did this day after day, and we thought it was amazing that they was eating candy and all this. So silly of us, right? So anyway, the next day, Speedy come to me, and he tell me he got to go down south. And I said, wow. He said, yo, so you want to take care of the snakes, right? I said, yeah, no problem, man. Man, they went down south. Summer came and went. And like a 7-year-old kid, I forgot all about them snakes. And when Speedy came back up, first thing he asked me when I seen him when he came back on the street, and I helped him put their stuff in the house. He said, yo, man, you took care of the snakes? I said, oh, Junk, I forgot all about the snakes. Typical little irresponsible kid. And both of us said, oh, man, those snakes probably giants by now. All this time, man, they probably big. You know, because we little silly kids. So we went up under the porch and got the snakes and took them in the backyard, the can, and we opened up the can. It was a foul stink smell. And when we opened up that can, not only was all the snakes dead, because see how we put them in such an impoverished, we took resource from them. We made sure they couldn't get out. So not only was they dead, remember it was 5 snakes, but when I opened up that can, not only did I not see 5 snakes, I seen of those 5, it was only 3.5 of them left, and it was a whole bunch of baby snakes. And all of the snakes was dehydrated out and dried out like snake skin. That's all that was left of them. Because what happened, obviously, one of the snakes ate the other one, so now it's 4 snakes left. And then one of the other snakes attempted to eat the other out of desperation of having no provisions or no resources. But when he went to eat the other one, the snake was halfway in his body and halfway out. And that snake died with half of him in him, and the other 2 was dried out, and all the babies was dried out. And we just thought like typical little 7-year-old kids. We was like, oh man, I wonder what happened. Like we was too foolish to realize, you know what happened? Just like the crooked government and all this stuff of what racist America has always done to black folks, we took everything from the snakes. We took their resources, the way to provide for themselves, the way to go out and be productive in the world. And we put them in a situation where now they even turned on each other. You get what I'm saying? But do we call that snake on snake crime? No. See, this is silly. It's such a silly stigma to put on the folks to go black on black crime. And guess what? The rest of the world follow it. And they go, yeah, that's black on black crime with black people. No, but it's not snake on snake crime. It's not white on white crime when white people do all this stuff, right? So all y'all out there, stop saying black on black crime because it's an ugly stigma. And remember, if you look up the word stigma, you will see it means a disgraceful, negative connotation that they put on a person, place, or thing. Something very disgraceful that you put on something or someone. And that's what black on black crime is. It's a farce. It makes no sense. And there's no such thing as black on black crime. It's a crime of some bad people. It's just a crime. You know what I'm saying? So on that note, I'm gonna let y'all go, but subscribe, share, like, and comment. I hope y'all like the shirt I wore to do this video, black on black crime. Like it says, American grown, but African roots. Over here we got Africa roots, and over here we got American roots. But yeah, hope y'all learned something from this. Hope you enjoyed my childhood story as well. And on that note, I'm gonna let y'all go. Peace.